If you clicked on this video, I ask only one thing. Please watch it till the end. I spend a lot of time condensing my thoughts into as concise a point as I can, and it disheartens me greatly to see people leaving before I've barely spoken a word. I promise you, I am not trying to waste your time. I also genuinely enjoy video game discussions, so if you leave a comment, I promise I will at least read it, and I will almost assuredly respond. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the video. Spyro is a game that I was aware of, but never got the chance to play when I was younger, so I would say I have a sort of secondhand nostalgia for the character. So I was elated when I finally got the opportunity to play the Reignited trilogy for the first time. And after completing all three games, collecting every single gem, egg, orb, and statue, I have come to the conclusion that Spyro the Dragon has the most unrealized potential out of any 3D platformer I have ever played. It's hard not to love the Purple Dragon's iconic 90s snark, and it can't be understated what a fantastic job Toys for Bob did in bringing these games to the modern era while staying true to the original artistic vision. And with the new Spyro game all but inevitable, I wanted to talk about some things I think need to be considered when realizing the potential of this series. First off, these games are too easy. I understand that I'm well outside of the intended age demographic for these games, and that 3D platformers of this era weren't known for their challenge, but I think modern audiences might find these games patronizing, and dare I say it, a little bit boring. I'm not saying they need to turn into Dark Souls the Dragon, I'm just saying there needs to be a moderate level of challenge, not just in the combat, but in the puzzles and platforming as well. Secondly, Spyro needs a compelling villain with clear and understandable motivations and goals. Heroes live and die by their villains. Mario has Bowser, Crash has Cortex, Donkey Kong has King K. Rool, and Ratchet and Clank have Dr. Nefarious. I'm sorry to say it, but Spyro has terrible villains, and this doesn't just apply to the big bads. The games have no identity when it comes to enemy design, with developers just throwing in seemingly random enemies for Spyro to fight, without any thought. The first game was good about establishing commonality in most of the enemy designs, but by the third game they had all but abandoned this. I'm not saying variety isn't important, but you can't just throw in anything just for the sake of it. Third, Spyro is your main character. It seems as the series progressed, the developers had become utterly disinterested in Spyro as a character, with the third game hosting a roster of 5 playable characters, not including Spyro. Again, variety is wonderful, but you need to focus on the titular character, which leads me cleanly into my next point. Expand Spyro's moveset. There's a lot to be said for the basics, but I just don't think charging, jumping, gliding, and flaming is going to cut it anymore, or at least as they are now. You can do a lot with just simple expansions on existing abilities. For example, what if, after getting a charge going, you could jump into a short flight? Or how about a permanent upgrade that gives you a continuous flame breath when you hold down the button? The point is, you don't have to reinvent the character, but you do have to do something to improve the gameplay loop. This is also an opportunity to implement a progression system, a staple of modern game design. Fifth, you need a better soundtrack. Spyro's soundtrack is incredibly generic. Mascot style platformers are defined by their memorable music, and after only a short time, I can't say that a single track left a lasting impression on me. The following are a list of small complaints and suggestions that don't fit neatly into the category of hard critiques, but I feel offer valuable insights nonetheless. I'd like to see larger levels. Spyro isn't like other platformers. While not as fast as characters like Sonic, he has a greater degree of mobility with some limited flight capability. I'd say this necessitates a larger sandbox to really get the most out of said mobility. I'd also like to see some uniformity in the level design. I always thought Spyro was a medieval fantasy character first and foremost, and would like to see more medieval, Eurocentric fantasy motifs. This doesn't mean the game shouldn't be light-hearted and cartoonish, but I think this would help establish an identity for the character and help ground his adventures and set a tone, much in the way you know what to expect from a Mario or a Crash Bandicoot game, for example. Lastly, kill Hunter in the most brutal way imaginable. I hate this character with a burning passion and I want him to die. Nah, I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, I am hopeful for the future of this series, and with the triumphant return of games like Crash Bandicoot and Ratchet and Clank, I don't feel like I'm unjustified in feeling that way. We even got a new 3D Kirby game in what seems like 2 decades. And with the pending acquisition of Activision Blizzard, perhaps a new adventure for Spyro is only a matter of time.